Everybody can hear me perfectly. Okay, so it's looking like we have a delay of about 10 seconds. So forgive me if we get on and we start having delays. But I wanted to welcome everybody on. I wanted to say that we had some good fire to talk about today. You guys are seeing a beautiful Twitter war coming about right now. And it's a beautiful thing because you're getting an opportunity to see what it is that I had to see when I first got involved with this fight. I told you guys a long time ago that when I started to go against bad actors and show the proof of them doing wrong, um, what ended up happening is that I had assigned to me some bad actors who were drug dealers, people who I saw threaten to kill people live in my face. Um, there were people, well, they started doing that after they tried to approach me. So I started doing lives with everything that I found wrong with the CPS system shortly after I started having my fight, when I saw that they were wrong and I saw that they tried to hide information. What I did was I started publicly going out, and I had an understanding, and it was simple from the Bible. Um, you can see from the Bible that when the wicked are doing evil things, they will come together often, or they will become what's called at league with one another. Sometimes they'll share one purse, meaning they'll put their money together and pool it so that they can make victims of people. And so I started going out and teaching, and there was a woman named Karen who called me one day, and she didn't know me very well or anything like that. But she said, David, listen, we don't like the fact that you're doing these, what she called selfie lives, meaning I was doing lives by myself, explaining what I saw wrong with the system. Now, really quickly, guys, I understood that these tribunals, one of the first things they did to me when they found out I knew the truth was to say, hey, or I was telling about what they were doing. They called themselves making a gag order and said, if you tell what's going on in here, we can put you in jail, right? So they didn't want me talking about what they were doing wrong. And let me know if you guys can hear me. This is stupid. Hold on. The system is just going crazy now. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you fine.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I'm
hear you.
I
stuck.
can hear you in Georgia.
I'm stuck on a page and it won't let me get off, even though I'm pushing cancel. Let me see. Okay, we're gonna see if this will let me do it and get me back to where you guys are. Nope, I'm stuck. I'm stuck on a page and I can't get out.
Can you swipe it?
I don't know. I was scared that if I swipe it, I might swipe away everything.
Well, okay. Sometimes if you swipe down on something that's popped up, it works.
Huh. So, oh, swipe down. So it has a cancel on there from one of my posts, and it's saying okay. Somebody just messaged, and I clicked on it by mistake, and it let me out. Thank you guys, whoever just released me from jail. Okay, so I wanted to go back though and talk to you guys about what happened at the beginning. So I had a situation where, I have this CPS fight. I don't understand what I'm looking at because it's so crazy. It's nothing like what the freak you see on TV. It ain't nothing like, uh, what you would expect a court to be like. So you see, like my first day walking into this tribunal, right? My first day, I see there's no attorney there for me. And, my wife had an attorney there that was for her, and I'm looking around and I don't see anybody, and I'm looking like what the heck is going on. Then I see CPS workers, like, they're not really dressed up or anything or whatever, one of them smacking gum. Then 15 or 20 minutes after our hearing starts, the the attorney supposedly for me walks in with what in the ghetto we call this a move something dress. She had a short skirt on that was so short it was barely like under her butt, right? And like barely covering her underwear in the front. It was so short. And I saw her and I just looked and I just turned, I said, she's fired. Like, you know, no way this person's supposed to be here for me, right? So didn't talk to me, didn't hear anything from what was going on in the case, didn't have any information, nothing, right? So I start fighting this battle and I don't know anything about these tribunals. So I'm trying to understand what's going on. Very first day there, the woman acting as the judge said to the prosecutor guy, and this is not a criminal case, this is just CPS. She says, "Hey, did you give these parents the evidence, or the claims that were made against them?" He said, "No." He said, she said, "Why?" He said, "I was trying to find fluidity." In other words, very first day in the hearing, we didn't get served notice correctly. Um, they didn't give us any evidence of anything going on. So imagine you're in a hearing and you're trying to figure out what the freak is going on, but they're withholding information from you so you can't find out what's up, right? So definitely 100% not like anything you see or anything you could imagine, right? Now, when I started going around and I started studying and I started, like, for instance, I saw the attorney named Sean McMillan. Now, what's crazy is Sean McMillan was already suing Arizona for taking people's kids with no warrant, etc. Right? So when I first had my case, uh, CPS got involved, threatened to take our kids forever. Said the court said they could have our kids, told the police they could take them, but they never had a warrant. So to start out, uh, the attorney named Sean McMillan, after my kids were taken, made or beat Arizona. They had to settle out of court in a case called Pellerin versus Wagner. The woman Wagner in the case got sued because she took people's kids without a warrant. And a judge in Phoenix said that she made up stories and was deemed incredible to take people's kids. So she made up fake stories, right? She cost Arizona tons of money because they had to settle out of court because one of the best attorneys in America, which he's been on this show, Sean McMillan, actually proved that they did not use any warrants. Now, when they took my little guys to start out, they were already in trouble from a case, I think that was in mid or early after 2010, maybe 12 or 13. They were still dealing with the issue in 16, but by that time, the caseworker who became a supervisor was already deemed incredible, already known for making up stories against parents. Okay, so let's get that understood. So, in order to start a case, guys, Arizona lost money from Sean McMillan because Arizona never got a warrant to prove that anything was done. I mean, they never got a warrant to take a kid. They never had any trial by jury or evidence in any criminal court or anything like that to say that somebody did wrong. So to begin a CPS case, they didn't do the basic things that would be necessary to even have a case. Now, I want you guys to understand this because CPS courts are not criminal courts. They are not courts of record. So they're not judicial. So, in other words, Arizona was taking 1,000 kids to 1,200 kids a month when I first got to the system. I believe they returned 1 out of 400. So, to understand what's happening, we first have to say, are the things that parents were going through in Arizona lawful, right? Because people like O State J, and he can come here if he wishes to and jump on a mic. People like O State J He's in another state, but I want you guys to recognize that he's posting things from a guy named Michael Cadena. Now, he'll try to say that it's ad hominem attacks that I'm telling that the guys who he's sharing their articles, they are the exact agents, traffickers with proven records of raping kids that I showed you guys for the longest. So this attorney who happened to work in a family court just magically ends up getting documents from guys who have records for raping kids. Some of them are attorneys, some of them are government officials, some of them are literal drug dealers and baby rapists, and I'll show you guys their record. Now, the people that he's posting from, I'm going to put this in the chat bubble. Um, the people that he's posting from, I can show you clearly where they're going around the country and they're attacking any parent that would stand up against CPS. So I can show you these people working with these bad actors. They write articles that hack people's phones and they'll tell you out of their own words. You don't need to take it from me. But what they do is they have attorneys that will interfere in cases across the country, which is illegal. They will um, go to your family, try to attack you to your family, because the goal is to keep any truth from coming out with what's happening in the CPS world. So this is why they're doing this. So think about it. The people who are raping kids, the NEMIC report already came out in the Fed and said 88% of the kids that are found in trafficking come from CPS and foster care, right? So Arizona was taking 1,000 to 1,200 kids a month with no warrant. Now, a lot of these kids who get taken end up in the hands of traffickers when they're supposed to be in the custody of CPS and foster care. But CPS and foster care can just go ahead and strike the record. Nobody ever know the kid existed because they already took them from the parent and changed their social security number. So there's no record of them anymore once CPS so-called loses them. So me going through the beginning of my case, I was studying around. I saw guys like Carl Lentz. I saw other people. Um, and I was trying different things and putting documents in the case, which a lot of the stuff wasn't wrong. It just wasn't complete. But I'm fighting to try to uh, stand on my rights or whatever. So I go through this whole year of fighting. And as I'm going through the whole year of fighting, first thing I recognized was that the court or the tribunal was private. So they didn't want you to tape anything. They didn't want you to have evidence so that you could use it. At the end of the court case, I asked for the documents and they asked if I was trying to sue. And I said, no, I just want to have a copy of the record. They said, okay, well, it'll be $3,500 then. I said, okay, fine. She said, well, no, it might be 5,000. I said, whatever. Let's just get it. Right. So then she said, well, we got to ask the judge then. Right. So they don't want to give you a copy of the record that shows any wrong they did. So that's not an open court. In a court of record, you can't hide the record from people so they can't sue you. You can't do all that stuff, right? So I want you guys to realize what we're in the first place. They never had a jury. They tried to put a gag order on me. You can't say that people can't talk about what's happening in an open court. That's foolishness, right? So CPS tribunal is not an open court. It's a legislative tribunal. I opened the door. Well, I started like talking to the judge, and I'm like, "Hey, I demand a court of record." And I have, and other people have, and a reporter has, and a federal agent has the record of the judge literally saying, "No, mad as heck. You can't have a court of record, right?" So I have it in the documents where I asked for a court of record, right? And they would not give it. She knew it wasn't a court of record. So, in order to take life, liberty, or property from a parent, you are to, or any one of the people, you have to have a court of record, right? Now, this is stuff that we're seeing that Leah Cushman has put out. This is stuff that other government officials are now talking about and putting out. This is what Thomas Massey came out and talked about. The Supreme Court has come out and talked about it now. It's out in the open now, but it wasn't out in the open when I was fighting. So recognize there was no person who just taught how to deal with CPS stuff, and I had to study from scratch. So as I'm putting the pieces together, I'm putting things in the cases, right? But I realized that the courts are private and they're hiding the record. So it's kind of like when Trump wanted to put evidence on the record and they would just block it so that nobody could get access. Same thing, right? So I want you guys to think about this. When you have a situation where somebody's using a private tribunal, they're not letting you cross examine anybody, they're not allowing you to get evidence, they're hiding it from you, right? So after the prosecutor guy said, hey, I'm trying to get fluidity before I give him evidence, right? um, I realized that this is crazy because the second week that I returned, when he was supposed to give evidence, he still didn't do it. Then they waited 3 months and gave like 1,000 to 2,000 pages of documents, right? So I'm going through all this stuff and I realize other parents are telling me, oh, yeah, I tried to put stuff on the record. They wouldn't let me. I tried to tell something they did wrong. They wouldn't let me, right? So, me understanding that it's a private tribunal and is most likely that they're not going to be fair, I realized I had to do something different. You can't, see that everybody else is getting railroaded and then they hide the record and you just continue to do the same thing and you think you're going to get a different result. So, what I did is I had one accusation that they tried to start the case with, right? Then, uh, my stepdaughter's dad uh wanted to get off of child support, so he gave a document that was another sworn testimony of my daughter, which was exactly 180 degrees opposite of everything else. And I said, wow, so these people got two different testimonies from her and they don't tell us, right? So I made affidavits. I took the documents, I brought them to the court, and I had people taping while I was there. I showed the judge. I said, "Hey, judge, how come nobody told us that there was two different sets of testimony that was given that was, 180 degrees conflicting?" The judge said, "I said, hey," and I took a picture of the CPS worker where I was handing him evidence in a video. I recorded the whole thing. And I said, "Hey, judge, here it is that I gave evidence to these people and they purposely didn't turn it in. Worse than that, I have them on a phone call telling that I gave them evidence. They knew they got it, but they decided not to turn it in anyway, hiding exculpatory evidence." Now, I'll share a video up under this space where you guys can hear Sean McMillan doing a deposition against a woman named Karen over not giving exculpatory evidence. And she's the one who paid money for relying on parents to get their children taken and not giving exculpatory evidence, right? So by the time she gets to my case, the woman knows what exculpatory evidence is. She knows she needs warrants because she's being deposed in 2016. My case was in 2017. So everything that you see happening wrong to me, the woman already knows is wrong because she got in trouble for it and Arizona got in trouble for it already, right? So you can't say you're not on notice, that you can't hide evidence. I'll also tell you that the caseworker on my case had a criminal record already for hiding evidence at a crime scene with a car accident. So um, I want you guys to understand, when you are fighting something like this and you see that the actors are doing wrong and you can pull up their criminal record and see that they got in trouble for hiding evidence before and stuff like that, you got to understand that something ain't right. So when 3 months went by or whatever, and it came time to do a trial, and I asked for the police officer who I found had other records, to be able to come to court. Now, she was on the other side's list of people to cross-examine, examine their testimony, right? So when after 3 months, when I get documents, I find that, and I'm gonna tell y'all what caused this. I had an attorney who I didn't know if I could trust, but what happened was is the attorney told me the same thing I learned about affidavits. Do an affidavit showing what really happened with the situation and get affidavits from the preacher who was a witness, uh, to things that prove that I didn't do anything wrong, and another party, right? So I do this affidavit and I didn't know this because they were hiding the evidence for months because they didn't want everybody to know what really happened. So the Attorney General's office, this I learned about the audit stuff too with elections. The Attorney General's office was the attorney for CPS. So the Attorney General's office literally hid evidence. When the judge told them to give it to me, he wouldn't do it. So after 3 months, right, like a month before trial, he decided to let me see, right? So I'm going through these thousands of pages and I find out that the police officer got the affidavit that we did and saw, uh-oh, it looks like something else was happening. This girl was doing some bad stuff. They told her they were going to take her to homeschool. Nobody told the officer anything about this. And then she made up these allegations. So the officer went, I believe, with somebody with a wire or after, and asked my daughter through marriage, and it's in the records. Hey, how come you didn't tell me that your stepdad said that you were going to go to homeschool and that you were sending out all this stuff to boys and all this stuff, and they just told you they were going to bring you to homeschool, and then you came up with this, right? So this is in the records. So the officer says this girl is incredible, meaning you could tell she's lying. You can't trust what she's saying. Guess what they don't put in their filing to the court, which is a legislative tribunal anyway? They hid it. So I took an affidavit from the preacher at church who checked over my kids and a doctor at church. They taped my kids, checked their body to see if there was any bruise or anything, just because I saw online that Arizona likes to lie and make up stuff. So the very first day the CPS worker saw me, I gave him a document and was recording him and talking to him for quite a long time, like over an hour. And I have him on video accepting the evidence, talking to me about it. And then they purposely decided not to turn it in, which is a crime. So when you're trying to take kids from somebody, you're supposed to give exculpatory evidence of them not being wrong, and you're supposed to give evidence of them being wrong. So what they did was is they made up some fake stuff, knowing that it was fake, and then took evidence 2 different times. And then there was another situation where another guy came in wearing a wire that had 3 more stories. So a total of 5 stories that none of them matched. They knew all. This is why the guy said, I couldn't find fluidity. So rather than just coming out and saying, you know what, we don't have anything that says these people ever did anything wrong, let's just drop it. They just decided to hide 4 of the false accounts. So this is Arizona CPS hiding evidence. They got by McMillan, the attorney out of California, for this very thing. And I'm just gonna come on and tell y'all, the very woman who signed the documents on my case that had 5 different opposing things that my daughter said, she signed the documents to take my kids. Now, the judge called her incredible already. So when I asked the court, "Hey, can y'all I want to have her testify as a witness. I want her and I want the police officer here." Now, the police officer was already on their list to be one of the witnesses. Guess what happens? They say, "No, you can't have her or the police." Right? You can't have either one. We ain't letting them speak. Right? Now, I'm telling y'all, a federal agent was there, a news reporter was there, and they heard everything that happened, and multiple people at the same time were recording every single court hearing the whole time. Now, me being someone who understands how I started to understand how law worked, I started seeing that they were going to run me over and hide all the evidence. Now, I realized in Arizona, the same judges working in the civil courts are the same ones who rotate and works in the CPS courts, right? So you realize that these judges all work together, all hang together. They're supposed to have randomized cases, but they don't. So what happens is when you try to sue them, they put you right back in the same court. I'm not the same court, in a court with the same person who heard your case for CPS, which is unlawful, right? So the first time I tried to sue, I ended up with the same CPS judge on the case, right? I can show you guys the document that when I figured out how to do stuff right, the head of CPS told everybody that he didn't work in the building anymore and they were running from service. Now you can see me going after this guy live on video on Facebook when my Facebook was up. And what happens is he quits 29 days later, and the woman who was on Trump's trafficking council team who was going after him after I exposed them, she said, he's not going to be taking kids anymore, sir. We're going to stop this. I promise. We're going to deal with this. And Josh Barnett was there. Evelyn Keeling was there. And he quits 29 days later. I was sending private correspondence to the Chief Justice. He quits, right? Early. Now, to help y'all understand why I did what I did. So when I'm dealing with this situation where I see these bad actors coming against me, I was trying to make sure that I can keep the record. So I heard a guy named Federal Farmer, who's an attorney for Harrison Floyd right now. He talked about how he was a 1983 claim against state actors and all this stuff, and how uh, officers of government who prosecute without jurisdiction, you can go after them, and he's going to do one, and he knows he might not win, but he's setting it up for appeal, right? So here's what I understood. It's very difficult to go through the appeals court and the Supreme Court with CPS because people went before me and they were not winning, and they weren't getting justice, and a lot of times they don't even let your case get into the court. They just ignore it, right? So I knew, okay, it's most likely that they're going to ignore me, and I'm going to have to teach all the people. And you could go look at my Facebook videos if you could find them on the Wayback Machine. I'm going to have to teach all the people what they're doing wrong in law, because it's like most of these parents are trying to fight by statute and they don't realize the court is wrong in the first place. So if they don't use a warrant, if they're not taking you to judicial courts, if they're getting paid in the case, all these different things makes it not a court of record. Why are we fighting in this, right? So I realized they're not going to give me a copy of the record. They're not going to do these different things, right? So I said, how can I destroy this? So I started reverse engineering. When I saw that they gave me a gag order in the beginning, I knew, well, the first thing they don't want is me talking, right? Private tribunal. The next thing they don't want is a record out there because they won't give any of the parents their records. So here's what I did. I I took all the stuff with the 5 versions of my daughter's testimony that the government hid so they could take my kids, right? I took all 5 and I said, here's what I need to do. Because you can't cover up crimes as a government official, and if you find out, you got to do something about it. I need to give the evidence to everybody and put it in all their hands, so that by the time that I'm done teaching everybody what the true law is, the record will be preserved outside of a private court, right? So you're going to see I wrote out cases by hand when I didn't have a lot of time. So if I was trying to take, let's say, the evidence that my daughter said I did one thing and then she flipped it and said I did another thing. And then they asked her a little while later because she couldn't remember her first stories. She said, "Oh, I think he did this." And it's actually in the documents. I think he did that. The guys who are attacking guys, and it's hilarious, who think that they're showing you guys something crazy when you see my documents, they don't realize that I was just trying to get the documents they said into a public tribunal that never leaves. So when everything comes back around and the people know, they would get prosecuted for what they did wrong. Now, where did I get this idea from? I got it from Psalm 64 in the Bible. In the Bible, God tells us that there will be an insurrection against good people where wicked people will come together, hide themselves, and shoot arrows privily at God's people. After they shoot arrows privily, they'll get haughty because nobody's stopping them. So then what will happen is that they'll openly start shooting and they'll dig for everything they can find. And it's exactly what's happening right now. Notice that these guys who are trying to attack me, who deal with traffickers and all that stuff, and I put some of the stuff in the chat bubble so y'all can see, the guys who are attacking me are people who have records for raping kids. And they're also people who fake in the law world like they're helping parents. Okay? Every single parent that stands up and fights too hard, these guys go after. But if you're having sex with kids, you need kids from CPS. So these guys are a group of attorneys, bad actors who got prosecuted for raping kids. Two of them, one of them got arrested for 2 counts of child, pretty much rape, and then, or failure to register for raping 2 kids. And they kind of like threw it under the rug so people wouldn't know. So he's a high Freemason out of Virginia. And he was able to hide his stuff at first. And then he got caught. So him and the judge got in trouble. I'm guessing, I don't know for sure, the judge is probably another Mason. But he was able to not register. And so this is another guy who he's on a video with a guy named Michael Cadena. So when you look at this O State J guy, and I'm going to share the pictures with you guys, this O State J attorney guy is a family court attorney. Now, a lot of times these guys work together. Does Jay work with them? I don't know, but it's very funny that the kingpin of the people, and check the pictures I just dropped, the kingpin named Robert Beatty, I sent y'all pictures earlier of a woman documenting when a guy named Miko Hayes, who swore to lie on me and remove me from teaching people, right? He said he was going to make up fake articles about me, and that even though I could see they were fake, he didn't care. And I'm showing y'all the picture in the comments, or the purple pill, where he's saying, look, I know that it's a lie, but the people don't. And then I said, you can't stop truth. He says, I'm good at it. So for the people who are attacking, this is literally a trafficking group, right? That rapes kids for real, that got people with records of raping kids in the midst of them, helping them to do their dirt, as well as CPS attorneys, right? And family court attorneys across the country. Now, if you don't believe me, I can show you the attorneys, but I get hotter with it. So I understand, guys, that these court parties are working together, right? And I say, if these court guys are making money together under Title 4 or, Title 42, if they're making money together as tribunals that are not judicial, meaning not real courts, and CPS workers are making money and CASA members and attorneys, they're going to be working together. So I can't trust I'll ever see a record again. So I combined all of their records, right? And I took it and I put a case in the state court. I was trying to open a miscellaneous file that was supposed to be under $100 in the federal, so I can drop. I didn't care about doing a federal case. I just needed a case open to drop it in. So when I did the federal case, I think the first one it was so late in the day that I only had a few minutes to get something written up because they weren't letting me open up a miscellaneous case. So I just wrote up something by hand, which doesn't matter because you used to write cases by hand. But I wrote it up by hand and dumped all the files in there. And when I say all the files, I took stuff to the state court that I did to show evidence. I took stuff to the legislature. I did a whole remonstrance showing everything that was done in the lower court, all the lies, all the issues, the 5 stories, the fact they wouldn't let me do different things that the law said they had to do. I dropped it in the state court, the federal court, and I did a remonstrance with the legislatures and got it stamped so everybody got access to it, because when you lie to take people's kids, it's a felony, right? Now, they were banking on the fact that nobody was going to see the record because they were just going to hide it. And if I tried to go to court, they would just block me. So I knew they would do this already, right? So when I got to the Supreme Court of Arizona, I did something slick. So I created an affidavit again, right? And in the affidavit, so what I did was is I made a case and I said something like case by affidavit or something, right? Something like that. So I knew that when I did this case, I only demanded one of my children back out of 4, right? So that it'll be known I know that they're not going to let me win this. I know that they're not going to let me get into the court this way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to document everything by affidavit and then let them fail to respond. So this is going to spark how everything got caught up later on and why they start giving kids back in Arizona. You'll be able to see. So I think it was October 8th. Uh, a woman named Arlena was having an event and they stole her kid from Phoenix Children's Hospital. Now, if you can get on her page, she don't deal with me like that. I don't deal with her like that. Like she'll kind of like she's the kind of person who I tell you about who will kind of like let you help them do something, or use some of what you got, be working with 10 other people, and then she never wants you to know when a blessing happens, right? So Arlena, in the beginning, she got one of my affidavits. Her kids, her kid was in the hospital and they wouldn't let him out, right? So we went to this event on October 8th. And before that, she got access to my affidavit, right? So then she says to me, "Oh, we get out in the open and we're on video now." And I didn't know she was going to do this, right? She got on video and she yelled out to the heads, "Yeah, for all of you guys who work as the heads in the department of the hospital, I got with Dave Jose and we did an affidavit. And we coming after y'all. Y'all gonna be in trouble, right?" Now, anybody who can really check anything can see if this is a lie, right? Now, she thinks her child stuff is private. So if you do something with her and she has a blessing, she hides it from everybody and never tell you. But it came out. So they were talking about doing surgery on her kid without right? She let them hear that I sent the affidavit. This is when I started to become known and everybody was realizing like, oh shucks, the truth is getting out. So they kicked her son out of the hospital, which Phoenix Children's Hospital doesn't do that. There's people who had surgeries done on them because TGN would test, and whenever CPS would get care or custody of a family's kid, they knew they could do surgeries. The family have to be paid for it, or they can take it from money from the state or whatever, or from Social Security, and they will all work together to just keep your kid. This is why it's so amazing that this other kid that Annabella told you about the other night got saved from them with one affidavit, right? So the hospital knew who I was. When she said that, they let that freaking kid out and they didn't give the kid, they sent him into a home at first, and then they sent the kid not back to her because they hated her for fighting. They sent the kid to her ex in another state like New York or something. So she ain't gonna come out and tell the truth about that. I'm not trying to talk her business, because if I do help somebody with something, I'm not trying to put it out there to hurt their feelings or whatever. I don't give a freak if I don't get credit for what I do that's legit, right? So this woman, she also had a federal court case. Now, let me just ask y'all a question. If would y'all think it's possible if you're doing legitimate court cases that four people could have high profile cases and everybody get the same judge one after another over and over and over again? Anybody who got a mic, that makes sense.
Yeah, it's highly unlikely.
Okay.
Highly.
So this is funny that O State J, the attorney from Oregon or wherever he's from, he tried to put it out there from these guys who work with the traffickers or whatever. He wants to now act like it's not that big of a deal. They just put out information. They're not bad guys. But he ain't giving y'all full disclosure. So the lady had my affidavit from the first time, right? So she went to federal court, and the judge named Tucci was blocking her from getting justice. There's a recording of her in the state court, and they thought that they were turning on the static machine to make it so that you can't hear what the people are saying as the officers of the court. But the officers of the court were like, they muted the thing, they thought, and they got caught saying, yeah, you know what, yeah, she tried to do a case against us, and since she's doing a case against us, we gonna hit her with a 5150 or this, that, and the other. And they were talking about arresting her, right? They were talking about arrest,
Okay, what's a 5150?
trying to say, oh, she's crazy, let's get her for being crazy. So it's one of their tools they use. If they find out you're going to get them, they'll just try to get you put in a mental hospital or whatever. And then they have all these psychologists, right, that will just deem you as mentally ill without even ever seeing you. Like, they got a California psychologist in Arizona that just signs rubber stamps mental disorders for people. Right? So they got caught on the record saying it, right? Now, these guys are trying to say, oh, well, this lady got arrested because she was working with Dave Jose on affidavit. That's not true. There was a woman named Evelyn Keeling. Y'all can pull a police report and see if I'm telling the truth. Evelyn Keeling went to go take Arlena on a visit. And Arlena was listening to multiple different people, some who were highly aggressive. And I told her, I said, listen, don't ever be aggressive. Stop being so rough and wild because you make yourself look crazy. That's what they want you to do. You need to be calm and collective, you know? But what happens is that when you're getting attacked as a mom, moms have a different type of like mama bear mentality than men do, usually, right? Some men will just get crazy and just start doing stupid stuff. But for women, they're so emotionally attached to their kids and they love their kids so much that it almost breaks them when they can't see them. So she was panicking, right? And she deals with certain people. So they told her she could just take her kid. I didn't know anything about this because I wasn't talking to her like that, right? But she went with Evelyn. And when she was in there with the lady, she literally tried to grab the kid and walk out. And the woman sat on the kid and wouldn't let her take. So they called themselves having a altercation a little bit, right? There's a little, maybe like 120-pound white woman, right? Maybe 120 pounds. The other lady was a big, chunky lady, right? Way bigger than her. So she tried to walk away with her kid. Like a day later, she got arrested. So these people are trying to say this woman did an affidavit and uh this woman did an affidavit, this, that, and the other, and she got arrested, right? It's a hoax. These guys have been working for the whole time to try to stop people from learning about affidavits and notices. Why? Because it was getting kids back. I'm going to tell you, the other woman who was in the video I gave you guys with Michael Cadena and the other guy who was the baby rapist, right? I showed you his record. The other guy in the picture with the other lady, she has like a fat face. I'm going to take the picture and put it in again. This lady, right? She found out about a woman. The first 8 kids that I got back, like from my teaching, was from a woman in Arizona who used to work for CPS. They took her kids. She watched my stuff for 72 hours straight. She didn't even use the affidavit. She came into the same court with the same judge, the same guardian ad litem, the same attorney that I had. And I just put the picture in the comments. The woman went on Facebook and said, I want to thank Dave Jose. He's so intelligent. I used what he said in court and they kicked my kid out. See, when I fought against CPS, I didn't understand everything yet, but I was getting close at the end. And then as I was teaching, other people were like, oh, shucks, the pieces are put together. The judge in the court realized that I was one guy and he could probably just hide me by sealing up the court, sealing up the record, not ever letting me get any of the information. When I asked them for it, they didn't want to give it to me. They told me it was going to cost a whole bunch of money. They had to ask him. I never got it from them, right? So I took my version of the record and I put it, I took my version of the record and I put it out there for everybody to see, right? So I had all of the information that they wouldn't allow me to use from the record on the state court record, on the federal record, and with the legislature. So now I'm cool because I realize now I don't have to fight so hard for just my little guys. I can now help everybody else to see what the real law is. And then once we're done, they're going to have to return everybody's kids, right? But you can't just have one person. You got to let everybody know. So they started realizing that I was teaching people really fast and people were getting their kids back and they were telling people all over Facebook. So that first woman who I got the 9 kids back with, or I helped her learn by teaching, that chunky lady with the fat face inside of the picture I just posted went to her on Facebook and said, listen, I work with the FBI. And you're telling people about David Jose helping you get your kids back. This is what the woman allegedly told me, where she told me allegedly. She said the woman told her, you better not talk to Dave no more. Don't say his affidavits helped you. Take down your post. And if you don't, we're going to tell CPS to take your kids again and we're going to come after you personally. So they threatened her to shut the freak up about me in these affidavits, right? Now, if I'm lying, notice how I'm sharing with you guys where I'm going to share something else so y'all can see it. I'm going to share the attorney who just posted this guy, O State J. He's not giving y'all full disclosure of what's going on. So I'm going to let y'all know who this is we dealing with that he's posting this stuff for. Now, I'm going to let you see where these agents will straight up threaten women online who stand up and fight for parents. So, Clint, can you see that picture I just dropped, sir? Or Pilsner?
Is it the one where it's one post with 4 pictures?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can you read the first one? And I just want y'all to see this because when you see these attorneys coming out saying, David, your stuff didn't work, what you got to realize is President Trump right now can't get standing in a legislative tribunal. He can't get justice in a legislative tribunal. He can't put evidence on the record, right? So dumb attorneys will see that the bad government actors will hide justice from you, and they keep doing the same dumb thing. They never go teach the people. They never go teach the legislature. They never try to flip the paradigm. They just keep losing. Go ahead, Clint.
All right. So is this the picture with Susan Cobb's name at the top of this? Okay. It looks like
listen to the names,
Facebook.
y'all, because Robert Beatty is the one who O State J, the attorney from from Oklahoma, which happens to work in family court, right? He's praising this guy as a good reporter. I want y'all to hear what this dude said.
All right, so Susan Cobb's name's at the top of this. It says, this behavior against one victim for years, and then a new sentence, we have often thought they were paid, and this video captures a confession of one of the chief dispatchers of trolls. Miko Hayes, a chief troll involving himself in many CPS high-profile cases, and then speaking, and this is in parentheses, speaking at 2 minutes and 17 seconds in this video, declares he receives thousands of dollars to attack other people. He states Robert Beatty is the main benefactor for all the trolls, and hundreds of thousands of dollars are paid out.
Okay, hold on one second.
To employee.
So this guy Beatty is on, and the attorney who's been fighting us for weeks straight but won't go live with me, the guy O State J, who's posting stuff about me saying my stuff don't work, he's posting the guy who his cohort came out and said he was getting paid thousands of dollars to go after parents in the CPS world.
So the O State J guy on Twitter, that's his handle, but his name is Justin something, and he's got a Ukrainian flag in front of his name.
He's an attorney in Oklahoma, and he works in the family courts, right? He presented evidence, so-called, from guys who made articles about me.
To try to smear you in front of everybody else who is learning the law and learning about affidavits.
I'm going to have you come back and read this, but to prove, I'm going to take, because he said Miko, she said Miko is the one who confessed, right?
Yeah, Miko was on the video.
Miko says Beatty paid him, right? Now this guy is posting Beatty. So I catch Miko lying on me and making fake articles. I say, dude, I see what you're doing, right? Now I want you to read the picture that I just dropped up under, and then we can come back to this so you can see when I call him out for lying on me and making fake articles, what this dude says.
Is it in the same quadrant of photos on that one post? Right, action. Okay. Is it the David Breedlove
No,
one?
Miko Hayes.
Okay.
Is not the four you just looked at. Is right up under. I just posted it.
Right up. Oh, gotcha. The tweet is right up under it. Gotcha.
Now we got to understand, guys, what we're fighting, because the deep state can come after Trump, and the idiots who are talking trash about what we do, calling themselves on Trump's side, they don't know how to fight outside the box. They just let Trump get punched. And then they say, we'll wait until November. Dude, you told us last November was a hoax.
Okay, so this is the one, the Miko Hayes, and you talking now?
Everybody listen to Miko Hayes. This is the guy who's paid by the criminal.
So Miko Hayes says, don't matter a shit to me if you see it. Other people will.
Okay, so guys, I want you to understand what's happening. I catch him lying on me in an article. He says, I don't care if you know I'm lying on you. Other people gonna see this. Meaning, he thinks y'all too stupid to catch him lying, and you just gonna believe the article. Now, watch what I say after that. Go ahead.
Okay. You say to Miko, I don't care what you do. You know how many people tried before you? Get in line.
Uh-huh.
And then you said you can't stop truth.
Okay, so if I say you can't stop truth, that means I believe I'm telling the truth, right? Now, let's see if he says, no, Dave, you're a liar, or he says something else. When I say you can't stop truth, what does he say?
He gets real braggadocious about it. He says, well, I'm pretty good at it. Laugh out loud.
So he's pretty good at stopping truth, and he's laughing out loud about it. See, what you got to understand, guys, is that we are fighting some wicked people who rape kids for real, and they got cover people who make fake articles about people, lie on people all day and night. When parents try to get the truth out, they hide it from them or threaten them. Now, to see if I'm lying about them threatening the people who try to stand up for kids, let's see what the freak happens. Go back to the old thing now you were reading and finish reading those text messages for us, please, Clint.
Yep. Okay. So then after that, right after the sentence where it says, and hundreds of thousands of dollars are paid out to employ each one. So trolls like Miko. While looking at the bank statements, Miko takes note of the fact that Robert Beatty gets paid for each account, meaning the hapless victim assigned to the hit squad. Miko also states that they have been unable to figure out who is paying Robert.
Now, let me tell you, Robert is said to be an ex-IRS agent. Now, Robert goes around lying on people, and he writes articles in the name of somebody who's my friend, Kent Hovind. Kent Hovind is a Bible creationalist, and Beatty swears he got Kent arrested for some mistake with taxes. So he goes around dogging this guy, but now that he got him messed up and he's out of jail now, he takes his name, and you'll see at the bottom of articles they write, and if you click on this article, it's gonna hack your phone, and I'm gonna prove it to you because they're gonna tell you. When they write these articles, they put KHLRB or something for Kent Hovind or Kent Hovind something on all the articles to act like Kent Hovind is part of it to get credibility. Keep going.
So this Robert Beatty, guys, he writes articles and pretends to be other people.
Well, he uses their name to get attention to the articles, and he uses the articles to hack people's accounts who are involved so he can get information on you to drop later or to steal from you. Like, these hackers get into your accounts, your banking information gets gone. And here's some other things. Did y'all notice the woman online the other day said they sent me mail to my house? Well, there's some people who they were going against who they went to their house after hacking their phone, took pictures of their kids playing in front of the house and mailed it to them. This is the kind of, like, shut your mouth, here's your kids. See, this is the kind of stuff where we got some punk people who saw this happening to women, saw them getting threatened, and wouldn't say anything or do anything. This is what got me fired the freak up, because I saw these people attacking, and women came to me like, they're threatening to kill me, they're going to do this or that to me. If I die, this, that, this, that. I'm like, who's threatening to kill you? And then they start showing me. I'm like, oh, screw this. I'm like, where they at? Right? And so I start going at them. I'm like, what's up? Right? And so they threatened to kill me. We were doing an event in DC. The woman who helped Clinton make the law to go after people's kids was at the dang event trying to act like she was there to be good and was reporting to these people real time. But when I was on my way there with a damaged shoulder, they were like, oh yeah, we're going to pull up and see what's up. Another person at another event told me, oh, we're going to make sure you leave out with a bang. When you get here, I'm going to call my homies in California, right? I'm going to call my homies. We're going to get at you. In DC, they said, oh, we're going to pull up on you. Me and the guy Miko and the baby rapist Randy said, we're going to pull up on you. We're going to see you on the street. I'm like, pull up, right? Because I'm not giving in for some clown rapists and people who threaten women and talk about how they'll kill them. I don't give a freak. You picked the wrong right one, because I'll meet you where you at if that's what you're going to do. And no, Miko is not just an attention buffoon. Miko is a criminal. Miko works with traffickers. He's way more than that. All right, so go ahead. Please keep reading.
Okay, so it says that they're trying to figure out who is paying Robert. Miko maintains many Facebook profiles.
Thing. I'm sorry. So y'all remember the first time Epstein got caught up with trafficking kids, and you used to write on Facebook about Epstein and stuff like that, and then all these accounts would come out of nowhere and start talking? Like, there's no evidence of that. That's conspiracy theory, right? That was them. So the first people to take up for Epstein was these clowns. They got a group of about 2,000 people on Facebook that were covering for Epstein. That's who the freak we dealing with. Now you got to ask the question, where the freak did Epstein get all his kids?
Probably CPS.
Yeah, and where they go? He raped all these kids. Ghislaine Maxwell went to jail for it. Where the freak the kids at? Where are the perpetrators?
How come Facebook can't find these people?
See, here's the thing is that they're hiding the truth. And what happens is they mess around with the right, wrong Negro, and I don't give a freak. I'm coming at your head, right? We going head up when you do some junk like this, and I'm not stopping. right? But I want y'all to see this dirty clown show attorney who tries to say my stuff doesn't work. The reason they started coming after me, guys, is because parents were getting their kids back. That's why I have pictures of people saying they got their kids back. That's why they say, give me the court record of a judge telling what we did.
They know what they're asking. They know there's no court record because they know that they would never put it in a record to show that they did something wrong. So anybody who continually asks for a court case, just show me in the court case where your affidavit worked. You got to know at this point that they're in on it, or they know what they're trying to stop people from learning.
Now, if you wouldn't believe that they were trying to actually stop people, just keep reading so you can hear what this lady says. And there was a video on Facebook that actually explained and told everything that was going on, and then you can hear from the rest of the pictures.
All right. So Miko maintains many Facebook profiles, maintains a facade of running a news media, engages in radio programs, slamming in innocent and vulnerable, doxes, threatens, and physically will arrive on scene at certain events. He dispatches other trolls using Facebook sites. I don't know, that word is kind of covered up. And then as Davian Patrick, where
now Davian is another guy who's a drug. You go look him up on the news. I think he's in New Mexico or Colorado as a drug dealer who got caught with a whole bunch of guns, right? So these people who they're using to stand up and fight against the parents are really rapists, drug dealers, and killers. And this is what this attorney is pushing. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's see if these people threaten to kill people and all this stuff. Keep reading.
So I'm
just go to the next picture in the line.
Next picture. Let's see here. Is it the Davian Breedlove one? Yeah, okay. Davian Breedlove says, I'll fucking kill that bitch if she comes anywhere near me after hearing that. I won't even hesitate.
He's the drug dealer.
And then there's a couple other names. Shara Michelle.
Shara Michelle is a lady who was a famous singer or something who was standing up for parents who got their kids taken. Damien goes everywhere threatening her. Miko goes everywhere talking bad to her, cursing her out. And they're not giving you guys full disclosure who the freak they're playing with. As a matter of fact, y'all know the Senator Nancy Schaefer who got killed?
Yeah, wasn't she killed?
And her husband?
She was like one of the very first people in our government that stood up in front of a bunch of people and told everybody what was going on with our state-sponsored, government-funded child trafficking.
She was trying to get a documentary done about it, right?
Yep.
Guess who was doing the documentary for her? Guess who was in her house like at 11 o'clock, allegedly the day that she got killed? Who was about to fire? It's allegedly said by her best friend that the guys who wanted to kill me, who are connected to Miko and them, did her documentary. And they were in her house the night she got killed, and she was going to fire them because she heard they did child porn, allegedly.
So who was it?
I don't know him by name, but she hired the documentary crew who rolls with them.
So just out of the woodwork, isn't that funny where they're always exactly where they're not supposed to be? They just come out of nowhere.
Yes. So you think about it. They come with articles, right? And the guy who's the attorney, Ostate J, is sharing stuff with y'all from stuff I put inside of cases to make a record in the different parts of the state and the federal. He thinks he's writing something that looks bad on me and don't understand that I made the cases so I could have a record later. And all he's doing is bringing it to the light so I can tell everybody, oh yeah, I remember I got to deal with my own fight too, right? Because I will help everybody else fight over their stuff, and I'm not actively trying to make my case pop back up because I understand in order to win is not about any one man's case. This is why all the families in CPS went through so much hell. They had everybody like, I got to fight my own case, and it's about my own kid, and yeah, I got to get justice by myself, and I'm going to get the best attorney for me, and blah, 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 blah. The issue wasn't your own case ever anyway. The issue is the fact that all the cases are ran unlawfully. You see what I'm saying? So when somebody says, Dave, your stuff didn't work in court, first of all, you got to ask the question, did Dave Jose ever have an actual court hearing in a judicial court? Ever?
No, because these people know how to just create documents, and then you think you're going to court, and it's bogus.
Yeah. So if you have a legislative tribunal, right? When you understand that a legislative tribunal is what these people are using, right? Then they never. If you just look at Thomas Massey and them, and they talked about how they're using tribunals that have no judge, it's not judicial. They're using their own workers to be the judges. They hire their own judges, right? So once you do that, right? Once you do that, you end up in a situation where you find that there's no judicial court, and the Supreme Court said you can't just take a court. You can't just take a court and, remove something from the idea of going to a judicial court and just assign an agency power to deal with it and then move around.
Right, like relabel the matter, I think is what he said.
You can't do that, right? But that's what they've been doing in thousands and thousands and thousands of cases.
For decades.
Yes. So somebody who's dumb, they'll just go through the court, do the same process and say, yeah. See, this is a bad process. This is a bad process, but this is what we got at the time. That's what they want to tell us. They want to tell us this is what we got, because if they say that, you'll never try to do anything else. You'll continue to live within the system. For me, I'm like, screw all that. I'm not begging somebody to do what's right. I'm going to trap everybody involved, get their name on it, get their hands on the felony too, and then I'm going to teach everybody what's wrong so everybody turns, which is exactly what's happening. Right? So keep reading though.
Okay, hang on a second. Just had to give somebody a mic, or at least bring them up to speaker. I think Ryan, I don't know, I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, buddy, but I brought you up to give you a mic. Okay.
So keep reading from the picture.
All right. So after that, Davian Breedlove says, I'll kill that fucking bitch if she comes anywhere near me after hearing that. I won't even hesitate. Right underneath that, Shara Michelle responds to a Lola D. Alessandro, and she says, I'm not her mentor or advisor. I did not encourage her to begin a new path. Then Lola says, Shara Michelle, now she has a gun for protection because of her presence on Facebook, ? You do know how lame that sounds, and we are not in a court of law. And Randy Smelt says, Shara Michelle, do you lie and cover for her now? Now you're not. And then Lola says to Shara Michelle, you are, responds to it, you are not her something, like it's covered up, and then you are her something. And then after that, it goes to couple of back and forth. Sarah Michelle, I'm not quite sure who these folks are, but at the bottom,
Shara Michelle is one of the people who tried to stand up for the parents. The other people are part of the crew that's attacking anybody who stands up against CPS.
Got it. And then this Lola De Alessandro says, watch your step, Shara. Piss someone off, and God forbid something happens to you. Your son may just get a recording about when you're long gone. Like, they're going to kill her and record it and send it to her son. These people are sick.
Somebody explain to me how the freak this is righteousness. You're going through trying to help people who getting railroaded by CPS courts, and the CPS tribunals and attorneys are hiring people to attack the people who stand up against them, and they're making death threats.
Yeah, and this is on Facebook too.
Yeah.
So they're making death threats on Facebook to people who are standing up for, righteousness and kids. and they're saying, watch your step because something might happen to you, and then we're going to film it and then send it to your son.
I mean,
that's pretty messed up.
It's pretty bold, right? So
they're awfully bold on the internet, though, aren't they?
Oh no, they'll kill you in real life. But here's the crazy thing. When I tell people that I worked and helped people in CPS fights since late 2017 until, and that 112 kids came back. I mean, no, 121, I think. Kids came back, and these people found out that I was helping people with affidavits. So now they all attack it because that's how the CPS workers, the CPS attorneys, the family court attorneys all make money by the conflict keeping on. So I was an enemy to them, and they start threatening to kill me and other people. And some of the people are dead. So when you understand that, when I tell people like, man, I come and give thousands of hours of teaching from Facebook to Twitter to, YouTube before they took Facebook and YouTube. And I gave people cars who couldn't get their kids back, and they'll make an excuse. Well, you don't have a car, and I'll give them a car, right? Or pay people's rent and house notes and all types of stuff so they can have justice. These people who come in after me never did anything to help the people ever. As a matter of fact, there was one little girl in one of those groups with one of the attorneys who are part of this. And the dude told her, if you want me to get your kid back, you got to have sex with me. She had sex with him, allegedly. And then he didn't get her kid back. Dropped her. I think the little girl was 21 years old. So there's serious stuff happening in this land. People are playing games, but you got to understand, people say stuff about me. They came last week trying to say, oh, well, we got proof that David was in jail and this, that, and the other. I'm like, shoot, show my mugshot. I ain't never been arrested, right? But they're so pissed that I'm catching them that they'll just get silly and post something from somebody else that's not even me and say I went to jail so other people believe it. Right? What else do you see?
The next one is Robert Beatty talking.
Okay, so here is Robert Beatty, right? I'm going to give y'all proof that he's hacking y'all phones. When you click on this dude's dumb link and this other attorney is calling him like a scholarly reporter or something, read what this dude says.
All right, so Robert Beatty says, Jacqueline Weaver, I have posted your Connie, in quotes, article more than once lately. If you are keeping track, you might let us know if you notice any new traffic to the article.
Okay, so these people get access to your information, have a system to track whoever goes on the article. They get in your phone. They've shared pictures of people naked or having sex with other people and all types of stuff from their own phones in their little group of 2,000 people. This is the kind of stuff you're dealing with. Keep going.
Down to the next post here.
No. Read the rest of that one.
Nope. Oh, okay. Paige Adrian Chapman.
Now, this is Miko Hayes' girlfriend. So she's also helping them do dirty. Let's see if she seems like a professional reporter or something.
She says, I can't. She blocked me for talking about her. And then there's a bunch of laughter emojis after that.
Okay. Did you see she said talked about her poopy pants or something?
Oh, it's covered under it says 4 new comments. But yeah, it says poopy panties now that you say that. I can see that the half of the character says poopy panties.
Okay, so why would you be a person going around telling people or talking about somebody's poopy panties if you're actually a reporter or something like that? And why would you be going after mothers and fathers who fight through CPS? How would you even know them in a different state? How would they know who David Jose is in Arizona? How is it that these people just happen to have access to people all over the country fighting CPS? Doesn't that seem a little strange?
Seems strange.
So this is what we're really dealing with. So the system is getting caught, right? And they're realizing that they have to do something to make it look like they're not breaking the law.
And this makes sense, David. I mean, over the last year and a half, how, you've been talking, teaching everybody kind of slowly, step by step, and why you didn't talk about affidavits in the beginning at all. You never did, because, and I know why now, because if somebody started talking about affidavits too frequently, too early, before there were thousands of us, the attorneys, the CPS folks, or the family court attorneys and all this stuff, they would have got out ahead of it, and had it blocked before thousands of us knew what to do with the affidavit. So,
yeah.
Especially when you get bad actors who jump on and they, what's his name? I forget the guy's name. The throw it in the trash guy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So guys like that who constantly want to badmouth using real law with actual affidavits and jurats on them, they know what they're doing. That they're trying to stop the remedy. They're trying to stop people from knowing that you guys can use affidavits and swearing to what your rights are and what the Constitution say, and they'll kill cases immediately. Because if you're just speaking the truth, if you're just speaking what your rights are, and you write it down and you swear to it and you send it to a judge or anybody else who's trying to mess with you, and they have to respond. If they don't respond, it stands as true. So what this does is it completely kills the whole charade of everything that's been going on. If you guys know the law, if people know the law well enough to defend themselves, nobody's going to run game on you anymore. So now I know why you've done this probably at least a dozen times to people who you've had, videos or live discussions with them, and you held them in place, and you never brought up affidavits, but you held them in place like you were playing with them, because I know why you did that. You did that now to let everybody witness that it didn't really matter what you said, no matter what they were going to try to discredit you. And you never brought up the word affidavits until probably just recently.
Well, here's the thing.
With us.
When I understand that their goal is to get the people to believe that what I'm saying is untrue or is not in the law, but they would never debate me live. What happens is whenever they have to have a discussion with me, I bring facts and they can't. So when I make them say what the law says, they hate it. When I make them say the people have all political power, they hate it, because they can only do this if the people have no power. So I want you to read something. Look at this post I just put up that Justin W. Mosteller, O State J, put up. Now he's trying to talk about the girl. Now I want you to understand that KEHVRIB in the article is from Kent. He's trying to take Kent Hovind's name.
All right, I'm looking for it. Was it just recently you just put it up? It might take a minute to show.
Now notice this isn't something with the lady's own words. This is something where they wrote something and they're attributing something to her and they just wrote it out their own way. So you can never trust what they say because they change a lot of stuff. But look at what Justin says and look at what the website is. This is what the ones they use to hack you.
Sorry, it still hasn't popped up for me yet. I'm still looking at your old post from, an hour ago.
Let me see.
28 minutes ago.
And everybody let me know, does this seem strange to you guys, these different things that we're looking at, or does it seem normal to you? Let me know what you think.
Anybody have their hand up? I can't see. No, I don't see anybody.
Oh, and I want to show you. When we get a chance, I want to show you another lady. The first lady they sent after me to say that I was a fraud and my stuff was fake is hilarious.
Yeah, I can't see the
I just
post with
sent it again.
Ostage. Could be my internet. I'm out here in the boonies right now.
And notice we asked Old State J to come.
All right. Does anybody else have better internet than me? I have not seen that new one pop up yet. If anybody else has a mic that sees it, go ahead and read it.
I do. Which one did you want, Red?
Do you see the recent one I just posted with the lady's name on there, and it's a circled email, and it's from that Old State J dude?
Come in, babies. Come on. Come on, let's go in. Want to come in?
Looking like just posted it.
Okay. Let's go, Mama.
Older.
I'm hoping the thing don't shut down the way that it just did.
Okay, 5 minutes ago with the link circled.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what is this?
You want me to read?
Yes, ma'am.
From Justin Mosteller. It says, I found no evidence of your affidavits being used once she was charged criminally.
Now notice, I wasn't dealing with a lady like that. She would take some of my stuff and leave and go into like her little shell and come back out and see my stuff online and take some more. But they're trying to connect. Oh yeah, well she got charged criminally. So first of all, if she goes and does whatever she wants to do when she's charged criminally, she had a situation where she had an issue with them and got arrested. And then she had a situation where she tried to take her son, right? But
so she got herself in trouble, and he's trying to make it look like
he's trying to
you
make it
helped
look like
the criminal
and leading her in everything she does. Now, keep reading.
Okay. She relied on your magic words to compel the return of her child.
Now,
wait.
If somebody is in criminal trouble, why would he jump from criminal trouble and say she didn't use the affidavit in your criminal trouble, but she kept saying something about the kid being returned to her? So how do those fit together?
They don't.
Okay, so he's trying to be slick. Now here's another thing.
And magic.
Yeah. Did he?
Wonder where he got that.
Did he give y'all full disclosure that the kid was returned to the dad?
No.
Why not?
Says nothing about it.
Because see, usually CPS takes kids and keeps them, right?
Yep.
So can you see that there's a website there that's some KVLRB something?
Yes. You want me to read it out?
Just the first couple of letters.
KEHVR LB.
Okay. KE is for Kent. HV is Hovind. And you can see on some of his posts, they actually say the name in the articles, Kent Hovind. But he supposedly got Kent Hovind arrested over some IRS stuff. So why the freak, if that's the case, is he doing articles in this Kent Hovind's name? So he does an article against me and writes Kent Hovind's name on it. And then when anybody clicks on it, it hacks your phone.
Yeah, he seems to be a common denominator here.
Yeah, but they just said he pays everybody.
Wow. Wow.
You see?
Are you there? Oh, I thought I lost you.
You see how crazy it is?
That's very crazy. I mean...
Okay, watch this. Whew. Now, they've got the guy, Davian Breedlove, that works with them, right? So I'm going to let you see something else. Let me see.
Okay. No, I have seen these so many times, but I just thank you for tirelessly bringing the truth of these wicked, wicked people and how they threaten and just their dirty, slimy moves, and they pay people to do these dirty things to attack. I
Yeah,
mean,
because
it's. Go ahead.
the guy Miko, right?
Yeah.
He works with Beatty, who Miko came out one day and confessed he was mad at Beatty over some money. And he's like, we don't know how he get his money, but he's the one who pays all of us to go after these parents, right? So I'm gonna give you another document because remember, they went after a guy named David Strait, they went after me and some other people because we were fighting CPS, right? Now I learned a few things from David, but I realized David didn't have his stuff together and his system wasn't clear. I learned some stuff from a guy named Carl Lentz. He has some stuff right, but his system wasn't clear. So I had to keep growing, right? And I had to figure out where they were wrong and get better. That's just part of studying, right? So read what these guys are saying. If they're acting like they didn't put all this together as attorneys and bad actors and different people, let's just read what it says. It's their own stuff. Can you see it, Denise? You're muted.
I'm looking now. Let's see. It's their own document.
It's some writing with some red on the sides. And
Oh, I think I found it. I got it.
it's them making their plan to come after me and a couple other people.
Okay, I can see the top where it starts myself for 3 years and still having to do so in federal court. I have a little knowledge of how the system works. I also know people who believe in the legal theories that David Strait promotes and have renounced their citizenship. 2 live in Russia and 1 lives in Panama now. But I have yet to see those theories work to get kids out of DCF custody. I could see how they could be used against parents.
So automatically he's saying I can see how they could be used against parents. Now, he was talking about affidavits too. He was talking to a guy named Robert. And this guy, I can't remember his name. He's the nephew, I think, of a woman named not Flynn, Lynn, what's her name? Jennifer Wynn. Okay. So he had a case. He had a case that went to federal. He had multiple kids. And they took his kids. He ended up having them come back. But I want you to see how he's saying what this Connie lady says and notice who he mentions. Keep going.
Then have parents telling me they lost their kids trying it. So it wasn't only Miko.
He's saying that some parents told him they lost their kids trying, which ain't the truth. But keep going, because this is a long time ago.
Yep. So it wasn't only Miko or Connie or
So
Jen.
now he's admitting that the guy Miko, who works with Robert Beatty, was also talking to him, and who else?
Connie and Jen.
Connie is the dang attorney who helped Clinton, so-called in her own words, put together the dang law that he signed to take people's kids, ASFA.
Is she the one from Alabama?
From Tennessee.
Tennessee, okay.
And one of the people who deal in her group is the one from Alabama going after people. So you got all these attorneys all across the country connected to Clinton. And if you don't believe me, just keep reading.
We all just decided independently.
So how does this ever happen? We all just decided independently what?
Of each other to start saying something publicly.
So you decided to independently just go after everybody who teach affidavits and different things like that that'll get the government caught, right?
Yeah, I doubt that.
Okay, look, I like fast cars. Denise, do we just independently both start posting fast cars and go decide to get the same fast car independently?
I mean, no.
Okay.
We did
So
it.
what about if me, you, Jaron, and Pilsner decide we all want the same fast car? We want to go down the same path with the same race gas. Does that just naturally happen independently of each other if we get the same car, same stuff, and we know each other?
No, the chances of that are astronomically impossible.
Yeah, it's highly skinny, right?
Yep.
The chances are freaking slim, like the new kids' freaking jeans, right?
What? Yeah, Slim Jim, Slim.
So the dude, he was drinking a little bit or smoking at this time, smoking weed or drinking. So it was his truth serum. Dude let the cat out the bag by mistake, right?
Mm,
So he done just told what he's doing. They all came together, and what else does he say? Now, I've never charged a CPS parent anything. I've given money to them, given them cars. But go ahead.
and Jen will call anyone a fraud who charges for their advocacy unless they are an accredited service, and even calls some of them out.
Now, who the freak is Connie and Jen? So read the next paper over, please. The next thing, so you can see who Connie is.
Okay, Connie Reguli, Family Forward Project. Who is that skinny girl beside President Clinton? That would be me. Oh, how proud she is. This was before he signed Adoption and Safe Families Act, before his impeachment, and before Monica or any of the other women described the sexual misconduct.
Okay,
I would.
she was down with Clinton when that law was made, and some of her followers say allegedly that she's the one who wrote it. And when they were trying to write the new law to stop CPS from taking kids and give them money to keep them in the home, she was there and helped write that too. So she knows the original law that I put inside of the affidavits that says you can't take kids. She would have had to read it to make the new law.
Oh my gosh.
So she knew CPS can't take kids, but guess what her position is?
District attorney at the time.
She was a district attorney at the time, but now, or not too long ago, she was a CPS attorney, so-called fighting for parents. So would she really want to end CPS when her money comes from that?
Absolutely not.
But she can have a 13,000 people group act like they're fighting and never show them the law said you can't take kids?
Oh my goodness.
You realize she came after me for doing the affidavits and showing people that the law said you can't take kids, right?
Yeah, I remember her. Yeah, I remember that.
I can show you me in DC. She's in the front of the room, and I said, how many of you guys know about the National Council of Juvenile and Family Court Judges? She raises her hand. So
Wow.
she knew they were taking kids with tribunals that are not government, and didn't say a dang thing to anybody the whole time I was teaching. How the freak do you not tell people? And you help write the law, allegedly.
Yep.
How the freak you ain't telling people? You help write the new law. How the freak you ain't telling people? And at the time that we were going to Congress, we had a congressional meeting set up to tell the legislature secretly what was happening with them stealing kids in the state. She was there. One of the women opened her mouth to tell her. She went calling, from what I hear, allegedly, ahead of time to tell the people in legislature not to meet with us. And the only way we could get stuff in the record is that one of the legislators sent their attorney to take notes and keep a record of everything that happened.
Wow.
So she was trying to destroy the whole thing. This is the kind of people you're dealing with, right? So when I say, oh no, this is a Clinton-connected group of people who threaten to kill people, who got attorneys all over the place interfering in people's cases, like, how could you have an Alabama attorney interfering in Washington cases? Right? But they got attorneys in their crew that will call in on your case to try to destroy it because they're mad that you're killing the system. This is what we're facing. They will offer money to your relatives to turn on you. They'll make up any lie they can. Now notice, the guy Miko said he knew that the other side was lying, right? So when y'all see that I did a whole bunch of cases and they say, well, it didn't work, let me ask y'all a question. How many of these attorneys are giving y'all full disclosure? Because they could see that woman's case that they just posted, Arlena, right? Why didn't they tell y'all that Arlena had the same judge as another lady in a high profile case, which had the same judge that I had in my federal case? And then there's another lady that had the same judge all within like a year.
That's enough of that.
So how are all the how is one judge hearing all the federal cases and blocking access to the court for everybody? Now you would think that would be very special if Arlena did use an affidavit and something else and actually get the appeals court in the Ninth Circuit to open up over claiming that the judge under her was involved in schemes and swindles, right? So if she used the affidavit of mine, which I didn't give it to her to do that, she just put it in there with some other stuff, and they open up an appeals court case. Now, the other people were mad at her for telling, but that ain't got nothing to do with the success of opening up a case, right? But with all this being said, guys, the judge that had all four of our cases at this, like right about the same year, right? Year and a half between each other. The judge that's hearing all the cases is named Tucci. Tucci was married to the CPS judge in Maricopa County where all of us lived. So the same judge that's working to do the adoption days, you could go look it up on Wikipedia and on the news. There's a news article. The woman who does the dang adoption day is married to the dude who was holding the cases blocking us from getting into the court. So when you look and see, okay, David, well, why do you have a handwritten document? First of all, I'll write another handwritten document. I don't give a freak because there's nothing that says you have to type up a dang case, period. And you shouldn't have to. They should just look at your rights and give you justice like they used to. But on top of that, I wanted to open up, I think it was $45, less than $100, a miscellaneous case just to throw evidence in as I was packing up evidence to do a case that I could really focus on. After I taught everybody, right? After we flipped the nation, after we changed the paradigm, which we have. But I put all the stuff from the lower courts that they wanted to hide inside of every court that I could that's public, so anybody can go pull it up. Because when I come back full circle, I'm not playing, and I'm gonna have all the evidence already proved. Now, let me tell y'all how we got kids back in Arizona a lot. So if you look at 2018, I think it was November 8th or October 8th, the woman Arlena had an event in front of a building, and she talked about how she gave affidavits to the people in the hospital as the board members, and you guys gonna be in trouble because David Jose got something coming for y'all, right? So the truth got out about the freaking affidavits too quick because they didn't get to get them in their hands. They kicked her son out the hospital, just like the other lady told y'all. When I sent affidavits, helped her send affidavits, the PC, the government official, when she was trying to help the family and they took that affidavit and she showed it to y'all, they kicked that kid out of the hospital within a day or two. The other lady's son, they kicked him out the hospital. They just didn't give him back to her because they didn't like her. So that was evil, but now at least we know your kid ain't getting surgeries all over the place and they're not doing some crazy criminal activity to your kids behind the closed doors. Am I happy that she didn't get it back in her hands? No, but they were out of the system, which is better than what happened to most kids, right? Or kids who got trafficked or raped. So I don't think of that as a freaking loss. I think they saw what the freak was up and kicked that kid the freak out of the system like they didn't want him no more. And that's a blessing. So when you go from there, you know, these guys will say, oh, well, it didn't work. It didn't do this. It didn't do that. But they don't have firsthand knowledge of everything that's happening in these cases. They don't have firsthand knowledge. Like, I'll ask you guys something simple. If a court has to have a warrant to take a kid from their parent if there's no proof of something happening right there on the spot that you can see that's articulable, that the kid is in danger of losing life or limb. If that don't exist, they're taking kids unlawfully when they use something called a pickup order. So what I'm going to ask is for anybody who would say David didn't win his case, help me understand where David had a judicial case. Help me understand where people followed the law to take anything from me or ever prosecute me for anything, ever, right? See, you can't just not follow due process of law and take thousands of kids and make $1 billion a year in Arizona and make money across the country and never use the law and say that you beat somebody in a case. That's crazy. Go ahead, Danette. Danette.
Yeah, my mic wouldn't go on for a second. I was just going to say, I remember when you did that live with Jovan.
Dave, I want to know how.
Can you hear me?
Oh,
the legislature.
Danette going, can everybody hear me?
I'm sorry. I didn't hear her.
Can everybody
Go
hear
ahead, Danette.
They're doing that thing again. Go ahead, Danette.
Can y'all hear me?
Can everybody hear?
I'm sorry.
I can't hear her.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can hear Danette.
Okay. Denise, can you go out and come back in? I'll get you a mic again. Go ahead, Danette.
I remember the first time I believe that you went live with Jovan, you and Josh Barnett were talking to him about election issues. And you told Jovan the first time about what happened to you. And the look on his face was one of devastation and grief when they said that they took your 4 children. And you got into that aspect of the conversation, and it was bloop, all of a sudden, this little comment, because I was looking at the comments that time, and it was from Connie.
Yep.
And let me read you what she said. She said, because I took a screenshot of it, she said, Jovan, she spelled it Jovon. I am attorney and worked on election issues here in Tennessee. Please be aware of Jose. He has a shady past, and he trashes me who calls him out. And I responded to her, I said, Connie, really, David Jose is a warrior for God, an upstanding Christian man. I have never seen him call out someone needlessly. But, you know, you were talking about election issues and they're still haunting you.
Well, the problem is they see the guy Miko came to me. So I was hurt. I ain't gonna lie. Facebook took, I lost 5,000 people on Facebook, my kids' pictures, my babies that I love. They were all on Facebook, their birth, you know, my real estate business and deals, big stuff for my life. And when I started knocking down the stuff with election issues and actually being the only one to ever get an audit, they took my Facebook from me. So now I lose the picture of my kids, but the whole time I was fighting against these people who were acting on behalf of CPS workers and stuff like that across the country. And when I would go live and teach people, they would come try to fight. So Connie was afraid to come at me one-on-one with the law, and she was talking junk about me behind the scenes and getting brave. And I told everybody, I said, when her anus come live, I'm going to embarrass her and show y'all that she don't know the law. I'm going to give her a definition. She going to tell y'all 1 or 2 things in the definition. And then after that, I'm going to open up more of the law to her. She's going to find out she's wrong and she's going to be stuck. So I told everybody exactly what I was going to do to her because of what she was saying. And I did it to her. So she got all these people together even before that to try to go against me. And she was trying to do it quietly. So when I started teaching people and they took my Facebook, they thought, oh yeah, we got rid of him. He's gone now. Nobody will mess with our system anymore. Right? They didn't know that God was building me up to get into stuff with election issues and getting the only audit. And when businesses were jacked up, I was able to save hundreds of businesses using the law. I was able to go against district attorneys and such in different places through my people and defeat them. Right. So these people didn't know. They thought, oh yeah, he's going to be gone and we got it good. Woo, we got rid of him. And then they didn't know God was building me in places where there were people who didn't have CPS cases that I would be able to teach. So when I came back, the guy Miko messaged me. He thought he was going to talk junk and just end stuff, right? And I laughed at him and I said, dude, you're still weak as heck. Like you not going to defeat nobody. Like God is blowing stuff up. So then he went and looked and he came back and he said, oh my gosh, you've been busy. So he saw how many people were following me in different places and was blown away because they thought they erased me off the globe by my Facebook being gone or YouTube. So I was trying to teach parents of CPS and help them, but they were afraid because these wackos were threatening them at the same time, and others saying if you do affidavits, everything is going to fall apart. You're going to go to jail. But one thing that's simple is when somebody gets arrested, they have somebody who's seen stuff make a sworn testimony, right? So they didn't want people to make sworn testimony because that makes a record outside the freaking court. So this is what I learned. When I saw that they wouldn't let you in court and everybody else quit, I said, screw that. I'm just going to take the show on the road. I'm taking it outside of court. I'm going to block the court and let everybody see everything they're doing wrong and dare the court to come to me. Right? So
and it makes people mad as hornets when you do that.
Yes, because I'm like, look, let's go live, judge, government official, and show me in the law where you can do this. And
lawyer.
They come watch the spaces, right? They know darn well they can't argue with me on the law ever, right? So they hide. So they'll sit back, know they're working with traffickers, and know the moment they open their mouth what I did to every single one of them on Facebook. They don't want that here. So they know, and they'll say it. If you argue with Dave, he gets more credibility because he's going to blast you with the law as it's written, and there's no way to beat him. So they get all their geniuses. They tried, they lost. So now when I say bring your anus live, the attorneys that know them won't come live, even though they act like they're the smartest and most profound ever. See, this old state J, he ain't trying to come live with me, right? All these other attorneys who come with these fake names and profiles, many of them are working with traffickers hand in hand, and I'm showing y'all hand in hand. And when I say, well, shucks, if I'm lying, bring that smoke to me right now. Open the book. I won't even prepare. Bring that action. Let's get it. They won't fight. So now, because they won't fight, God has made a table in the presence of our enemies.
Amen.
And they're watching and they can't understand how the freak can't we destroy him? See, when I was a little small guy on Facebook, they can get 30 or 40 of them to come and make it look like, oh, David is a liar. He's this, he's that. He's not telling the truth in the law. The problem is God let me teach the nation. So people saw me get audits. People saw me save businesses. There's people all over the place. And what they used to do is when they first started seeing people win, they'll say, there is not one shred of evidence that anybody got their kids back. Then we'll post 10 pictures. They're like, no, that's not true. Or two people will post, right? And they'll say, well, you were a sucky parent. And they'll try to downplay them rather than admitting, no, dude, they got their kids back in front of your face. And you said they couldn't, right?
It's that lawyer trick where they're always trying to impose their philosophy, their construct that you're boxed into. I will only accept a case filing.
Yeah. And it's so stupid. It's like, dude, first of all, you're not the freaking parent I was fighting for. I don't give a freak what you accept. And this is the other side of it. Why is it that all the people who come and say, I will only accept this, you prove to me that you did this. I'm like, first of all, I don't have to prove a dang thing to you of what I did because you do nothing for the people. See, what they want to do is they want to hold the position of the only ones who deal with law that's good, or they want to deal with, or they want to say they're the judges of who can say things work. I'm like, dude, your foolish system is a hoax. And y'all say it's a hoax, right? So the attorneys like Federal Farmer. Federal Farmer will say he don't like what the system is. The system is evil. The system is bad, whatever. And they flipped it, right?
Right.
But he wants my remedy to fit inside of his dumb system that he won't fight. He'll keep his license. He'll keep dealing with these people. He'll go and say, if it please the court, here's some case law. But when I ask him to get up in front of everybody and tell the truth and show what's going on, he won't do it. He won't do it. right? So the thing is, you get these brilliant people that know all this stuff in their own mind, right? And they want to test you to make sure, they want to act like they're testing you. They want to make sure that nobody will listen to what you say outside of their system. But why? Well, if you get paid millions of dollars in their system, would you really want the system to end if you know that everybody will be just as smart as you? See, people hear me and Federal Farmer talk to each other, and they'll see all he can say is, he'll try to argue first, then I'll stop him from changing my words and say, nah, let's go back to what I said. And then after I explain, he's like, well, yeah, okay, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Okay,
He's one of the few men who ever did. Yes.
yeah. So the thing is, he's so hyped up off of his knowledge that he doesn't use, that he can't stand for somebody else to use knowledge in his presence.
Especially dude from the ghetto in Detroit.
Yeah, I don't fit the bill. He called me a bad actor today. He said, David, you're a bad actor. I'm like, how the freak am I a bad actor? Show me what I did wrong.
A bad actor has the intent of giving harm to someone. How dare they?
He said, you're going to harm people. But this is what he told me. He said, look, we got to use the system we have. I'm like, man, shut your dumb anus up. Right? You're smart, but you're dumb for saying that. What do you mean we got to use the system we have when you're telling me the system is corrupted and doing wrong? Were y'all comfortable with the system we had when y'all changed it from the right way? No, you went to work to change it so you could benefit. But now that the people are seeing, and think about this, I've been asking a question on Twitter and freaking no attorneys come, even though they watch my page all day and night. I say, hey guys, can y'all show me the attorney that fixed the elections for the American people anywhere? Can y'all show me? Can y'all show me anywhere, please? Y'all can't show me, right? Then I'll say, hey guys, what attorney fixed Trump election stuff in his cases and over his business? What attorney got Trump standing in his election cases out of all these smart, brilliant attorneys that get millions of dollars? Where's the one that got him any election case standing in any election case and got it heard? One. Can you show me one out of the whole America? See, what I'm doing psychologically is letting y'all see these freaking attorneys who come out talking this stupid junk, right? Come out talking this stupid junk. They don't have a record of working. So they want to be the judge and say, David, your stuff can't work. I'm like, well, show me your stuff working. Did it fix the stuff for America? Can we trust 2024 elections now? Because you guys did some work with your pleadings to the court. It don't exist.
Not a single one even challenged the jurisdiction, which is one of the basic things you teach us.
Yes. See, that's the thing. They'll accept the jurisdiction and try to get some billable hours.
Hey, one more thing. And I know we're all upset about the election because, obviously that's the one thing that's in our face. But how about, before the election? How about all this COVID stuff? I mean,
yeah.
Name an attorney that has prosecuted somebody that forced shots on people and people have been dying.
Yes.
Give me a name of an attorney that did something.
It's unbelievable, bro, that they want to be the guards of law, right? And it's funny, this guy Justin now, David, you're teaching law without a license. Screw you, screw your license, screw the Negro who made the license. How about that, right? We, the people, got the right to consult for our common good. We got the right to rewrite constitutions. I don't need no freaking law permission from your clown anus. Take your dumb, silly attorney anus and go sit in the freaking corner while the people work with their servants to get things fixed. Because y'all ain't fixing a dang thing. Let's just keep it real. And I'm talking junk. I don't give a freak about your license. And I'm not going to let America fall while we wait for you dummies to get it right. Now, I don't think every attorney is dumb. As a matter of fact, Federal Farmer know a lot of stuff. He just don't use it. So that just makes him a clown. He's a smart freaking clown. That's what he is. Right? Smart clown.
Hey, I got a question for Farmer. His remedy for the bad attorneys is a bar complaint. I wonder if he's filed any bar complaints with his own remedy.
Yeah, well, see, it's so stupid, though. The bar complaints almost always get dismissed.
Of course. But he says that's his remedy.
Yeah,
did he even try to use his own remedy? I'm sure not.
What about, can he show the 1983 cases that he was talking about, working to kill cases real quick and fix stuff across the nation?
Yeah, he ain't got none.
He's like, I'm gonna use a 1983 case. I don't even think it's gonna win, but it'll set me up for an appeal. Yeah, so people got to pay you money. People got to wait for bull, go through hell while your anus talk about what might work or what you gonna try. Man, shut your anus up, right? America ain't supposed to be ran this way, and y'all don't want people to know why. Because he knows when we go right back to the common law and the constitutions, we won't need lawyers. It won't be sophisticated no more. We can just literally go in and write on a piece of paper, Donnie took my car. Here's his address. I'm swearing he did it. I got proof that the car is gone. Go pick his anus up. I saw him take it. Right? I'm swearing under penalty of perjury, I'll go to jail if I'm lying. And they will go pick his anus up. They'll look for the car. They find that dude with that freaking car. It's going to be hell to pay. Right? But these idiots want to keep telling us, it's so difficult. Why would you trust a layman? Well, you know, there was a time that they didn't use attorneys in the beginning of, during the colonies. And in the beginning of America, we didn't need a whole bunch of attorneys to plead our cause. We could just come in plain English and tell. So the freak is going on, right? So they don't want us to go back to that, guys. The attorneys are worried. Why? Because y'all learning too freaking fast. Y'all standing on the truth. Y'all lifting each other up. Y'all asking judges and attorneys, hey, why the freak are you doing this, dude? Right? See, attorneys tried to sneak some of y'all here. They tried to sneak Celestial. And then they end up losing. They wanted $77,000 from Celestial. And she gave them notices and the such. And they dropped that whole case. They dropped everything. The whole issue, right? She don't owe no dang $70,000. They're not coming after her no more. But the thing is, and Jaron dealt with the situation that was federal, where they were going after a guy over his deer. They wanted $2.5 million from him. The case was going on for 2 to 3 years. Jaron wrote a page to page and a half document. They sent it out. The whole case was killed. Now, what's crazy is the attorneys were making all this money. When Jaron talked to the attorneys about the case that the family had, they said, I can't see a judge doing nothing with that. I can't see that working. Well, it worked.
That was an AG that said it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Republican AG.
Yeah. So the thing is, we got these attorneys who ain't get taught stuff. And it's funny, Violet posted Scalia talking about how the attorneys aren't really taught anything in law school and how they could literally become a lawyer with electives. I said, gosh darn it. Right.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah. And then other attorneys don't know the fundamental law. Like, you literally, lawyer means a man learned in the law, out the legal definition, right? A man learned in the law. The dang state constitution is the foundational law of the state. And then when you get an attorney, you say, hey, what does the Constitution say about this? And they say, well, I'm not a constitutional attorney. Well, the dang Constitution is the fundamental law. How the freak do you not know the basics? Right? But this is what's being taught to us, and we used to give them the benefit of the doubt. That if you wore your suspenders right and you went to the right law school, you just knew exactly what you were talking about. But then it's funny, we're having conversations with people in the law world, and they keep saying, well, okay, after you nail them, I can't disagree with that. Or they start trying to double back, right? Well, I didn't mean that you were wrong. I just meant that it's not the best way now in these days, because they don't hear that. I'm not saying what you're saying is untrue. Man, I've been watching in personam jurisdiction run roughshod over so many attorneys and people in New Hampshire is unbelievable. They got other people they bring to the table as fake accounts that are attorneys, and he whoops their anus too. Right? So, guys, we're seeing a real situation where they tried to hide access to the courts. Now, I'm not a fool. When I see your anus hiding access from the courts to me, I'm not going to keep pushing and begging you and paying money for cases to try to get you to let me get what I'm supposed to get. I'm going to go outside of the box where your anus can't play, and I'm going to make it hard for you. Right? So these attorneys have to try to come outside of court and have a fight over CPS court. And one pencil neck attorney named Adam Waite. This dude tried to say that Title 42 was positive law, and I called his clown anus saying it snapshot the job. And then right up under it, I put the law that says that Title 42 is non-positive law, never passed by the legislature. This dude tried to double back and say, you don't understand what non-positive law means. I said, dude, first, let's just deal with the fact that your clown anus as an attorney don't know that Title 42 is not positive law. Let's get with that, because you stated what it is, and then your clown anus in the next line got proved 180 degrees wrong, right? So the thing is, the same thing is happening with government officials and attorneys all across the nation. The Supreme Court gets people in front of them now and asks the same questions we ask. And we get guys like the attorney, Mr. Fletcher. Sorry, Kavanaugh. I didn't mean to make a mistake. Sorry, Kavanaugh. Sorry, Kavanaugh. Right? Can't answer a question. Getting their anus kicked. Right? We got 3 or 4 9-0 wins with the Supreme Court recently. What's happening? The nation is changing. It has flipped. The Supreme Court is throwing people under the bus. The Supreme Court is like, look, y'all stole people's stuff. Screw what y'all talking about. We just gonna let y'all go. Y'all in trouble. You better give people their stuff back, right? The Supreme Court is telling on everybody. And the sorry, sad state level attorneys, and I'm gonna help y'all to understand something. Judge Judy said this too. People mock her. The lower level courts, guys, a lot of times don't know the law or get it right, and things are turned over in the appeals court. But most people don't go to appeals court. They just stop and feel like they lost, right? But Judge Judy told how they were wrong in family court, right? I showed y'all a video the other day where the attorneys were arguing in the state of California that they felt like they had a right to lie, to take kids. And the Supreme Court is like, what in the world type of freaking, it's the freaking case. What am I looking at? Why in the world would you think you can lie on parents to take their kids? Well, the state wasn't put on notice of that. What the freak do you mean you're not put on notice? You can't lie. You should just know that it's wrong. You don't need a statute to tell you you can't lie on a parent to take their freaking kid. Right? Then I gave y'all a Georgia appeals court case where they say children are part and parcel to their parents. The state don't freaking own the kids. And the lady's like, the attorney, well, look, we got the right based on statute to take the kid if we want to. We don't need a hearing. We don't need this or that. And the judge said, if this is what you think is in the statute, the whole statute is unconstitutional. The whole dang chapter, the whole title is unconstitutional. See, judges that are higher up know this stuff, but they're just lying to each other on the lower level, and they're used to not getting in trouble. They're used to not being prosecuted. They're used to the people not knowing the law. Now the law is flipping, right? And I'll tell you, I got to see if I can find the video. There was a whole bunch of guardian ad litems that set up a secret trust fund to be able to fight against lawsuits, and they were saying, look, the people are coming so hard now. What might happen is we need to protect each other, but we can't really tell that we made this private trust. We can't tell we made this trust to support each other, to block the people from getting us. But man, this business might not be profitable no more to be in because we got too much liability. So in other words, the guardian ad litems were running over the people, stealing kids, doing all this wrong stuff and blocking complaints. But then as soon as the people went outside the box and started growing and getting bigger and people start finding out, they were on a Zoom trying to make secret trust accounts to cover themselves. And the sad thing is, when the guardian ad litems realize as attorneys they're about to go to prison or they're going to lose a lot of money, they'll make private trust accounts to fund their stuff in secrecy, and then they don't give full disclosure to the legislature. So the legislature, whose name is on the hook for these dumb laws that's being made or statutes that are attacking the people, the dang lawyers don't tell them, hey, y'all, we all might be in trouble. Right? But they'll lie to the attorneys and tell they'll lie to the legislature and tell the legislature that they're allowed to do these evil things. So guys, I wanted you guys to hear what happened in my first cases. I'm gonna tell y'all, I didn't know about all this stuff at first. If I would have known as much as I know now, it could have been a lot different. First of all, because I would have taught people, not just myself. There's a lot of people with a lot of different types of cases. There's people who are suing people over houses, suing people over cars, going after the government because they want money for something, right? There's people who really had their kids taken and stuff like that. People who had their kids taken, I made a video for them to watch, and I got free content all online that I never let anybody pay me a membership fee for. But guys, when I went through this CPS fight, I ain't had nobody helping me like that. Number two, there were people who couldn't get their kids back because they didn't have a car, and I gave them cars, paid people's house notes when I couldn't work my business like I wanted to. I ended up with cortisol issues, my heart messing up, neuropathy in my feet, my body losing weight, not sleeping, going through hell. And nobody, hardly anybody, gave a freak, right? So now that I have PMAs and memberships and I become one of the best in the nation at protecting people during COVID, I don't feel bad about having membership fees for a freaking PMA when you can call me if somebody's attacking you, or I can save your $1 million business, right? A lot of the people who I saved their $1 million business ain't never gave money to anybody in the nation who was hungry. Not even a little kid starving on the side of the street would they give them money. So I don't feel bad at all about having membership fees for a PMA. Number two, I got free teaching everywhere, but I don't owe people free teaching. I want the nation to be good. I get free teaching for that. But the thing is, if I have a school and PMAs and memberships for people to come see things that they want specific information for 3 to 5 hours, sometimes 6 hours straight. I've also done 9 and 10-hour spaces teaching people the law, answering questions, showing them in the constitutions, right? I don't feel bad for what the freak I do. I give the best to people. Now, people say, well, look, it didn't work on his own case. First of all, I didn't have a case. I had a freaking legislative tribunal that was administrative steal my kids. That's not a freaking case. Just like Trump had a statutory thing where where they're trying to steal his building, right? Made an order to steal his stuff. That junk is fake, right? When it comes to this rape case, right? They said Trump raped somebody. That doesn't freaking make sense because there was no witness of putting Trump anywhere near that woman. In law, you can't do that. That's in the maxims. So what we're seeing, guys, is there's a lot of people who are making up stuff and calling it court, but the Supreme Court told y'all it's not court. The federal legislature told y'all it wasn't court, and they didn't used to do that. So things have flipped, and we, the people, have to take care of our own business because y'all keep seeing attorneys say, yeah, well, I know this is the way the law is supposed to be. I know it's wrong, but I'm not going to go in front of the judge and say, Judge, you kind of talk about case law, and that's not really factual because there's no such thing of case law. No, they just going to let it ride, right? They're going to let it ride and act like it's official. But guys, nothing ever changes. Nothing ever gets fixed if you don't go back to what is wrong and start addressing it. If you don't have controversy over evil things, you'll never have communication and peace that will change it. This is why I open the doors for all government officials, all attorneys, all judges. If they want to have a discussion any day of the week, I won't practice to deal with what I do. I will go at them any day of the week whenever they're ready, right? So this ain't something where I'm scared to talk to them about the law. I've done much study. I know exactly what I'm talking about. And y'all seen me go against them. Y'all seen me win over and over and over again. And for those who say, well, I just won't talk because I don't want to. I don't care if you do or don't, because we, the people, get to hear the law and see it for themselves. So we don't need you to fix it. Be nice if you help, but we don't need you. So if you're a bad government actor or a bad attorney, you're not benefiting us by coming. You don't tell the truth already anyway, right? But with that being said, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about what I did, why I did what I did in my first cases. I'm going to also, if the Lord wills, do a short video on it, 3 to 5 minutes, so you guys can share it around everywhere if you want to. Guys, I have no shame in what I had to do and what I had to learn and what I had to fight to get to where I am. And I'll do a written case again with a freaking pen. I'll do one with a magic marker. I don't give a freak, right? The thing is, we do notices. I don't do any special things in our notices to make it look extra special to government officials. But y'all can see, people told y'all, kids came back. Y'all can see when it happened with all that lockdown stuff, our entities are wide the freak open. And nobody can say they shut us down. And nobody can say we didn't do it because we're on video doing it all across the country. So, and we got real people, guys. Here's another thing. These people come talking stupid stuff about what doesn't work. But we got real people whose business was open, people who made tons of money and opened up other entities because they made so much money. So if you want to say that our PMAs didn't work, you would be a clown, right? Because the PMAs were wide the freak open. And see, like Farmer, right? When he found out that we had all these wins with the PMAs, he tried to ask how I did it. I don't know if y'all caught that slick Jock he tried to do. Tell me, how did you do it? I'm like, dude, don't play with me. I know what you're trying to do, slickster. You're trying to learn how to do PMA so you can make money. Then he said it. Man, I would have just charged people 35,000 up front and just not had to go to court like that if I didn't have to spend all that time. Of course you would. Right? And I told y'all that. PMAs are normally $25,000 to $30,000 each. And they don't help you fight. The attorneys just give it to you. And then if you get in trouble, you got to pay them some more to defend it. I stand with people. I made it cheap for businesses, $2,500 membership, where we're members of one another. And if somebody fights you, you can say, Dave, help me get them. And I like to party, right? But notice he's like, well, how did you do it? Or I can't see it working that way. I don't care what you see. We have hundreds of businesses that told you we did it. Hundreds. Like, am I just going to make up hundreds of relationships for Twitter? Please understand, I can go back to real estate and make millions of dollars and not need any of this. So why would I obligate myself to help people for a year? And for family PMAs, $450, that's pennies, right? And there's one of the attorneys of one of the people I work with charged them $400 to $500 an hour. An hour. Hey, Travis, it's good to see you are here listening quietly. He's been listening to me for the last 10 minutes times two. The legislator from New Hampshire, he's kind of jelly. He's another one of those guys who are afraid to come live. But, you know, it's funny that he can say he's watching me rant for the last 10 minutes, but he won't bring his clown anus in here and get some of that action. And that's what I'm telling y'all. The attorneys and the legislators who are dirty are clowns. This is the same dude who could tell people, hey, let's get together and say the nigger word. This is what this guy did. Say nigger even if you don't like it so we can show people that are woke we ain't running from them. So if you going against something you don't believe in or you're a racist, either way, you're still a clown, Travis. Legislator Travis, right? And you said that you wanted Giffords, you were okay with people in government getting shot or getting killed. That was gay too, dude. You're a sucker. That's weak. You shouldn't just wish that people get hurt or die, even if they don't believe like you believe, right? But I will stand on the Constitution that you got a right to say the dumb stuff you say. So it is what it is. You're weak, but you'll tell people to say nigger, but you won't get on live with a nigger and get your anus handed to you. I think that's very soft, sir. I don't think you believe in yourself, because if I'm a nigger and I'm less than you, then you should have your clown anus on here embarrassing me. But you know that you're weak and soft and you can't touch this nigger, right? You know it. So I want you to get the feeling. Let your psyche absorb the fact that this nigger is talking junk to you and telling you you are a clown to your face. You couldn't touch me with a 10-foot pole with law. You're soft. You probably got 2-inch energy. I don't know. But I'm letting you know you're weak as heck, because you'll talk all that junk for a month behind the scenes and you won't bring your clown in his live once. So I think you're kind of less than. I think your forefathers, even if they were slave owners, were more brave than you because you're a coward, right? You're weaker than a nigger who you won't come face. That's what I got to say about you. So sit here quietly for 20 minutes and to not say anything, but you can call people nigger all over the place and encourage other people to do it. You're weak. You're pathetic. Your forefathers would be turning over in their grave over your softness. But with that being said, guys, I want you guys to know that this is what happens when you fight in the real world. And you're going to find that some of these government officials who are afraid to stand up to you, they're afraid to talk about the law. They're really cowards who are sometimes involved in trafficking themselves. A lot of times they're part of little organizations that got an issue with little boys and little girls. So don't be surprised, you know. But when they hear that, oh my gosh, they're closing CPS, their candy store is closing. So with that being said, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on. Y'all saw that the deep state came against me. See, I hear a lot of people say MAGA, 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 deep state coming, the deep state is bad and blah, 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 and I'm going to fight. Yeah, when they come at you talking about they're going to kill you and they come at you trying to shame you or, make it look like what you do is bull, that's when you really show you stand. When you're in peace and ain't nobody messing with you and all that stuff, and you could just walk around and say what you want to say and ain't nobody gonna do nothing, you're really not putting yourself out there like a monster, right? So I'm telling y'all, I showed y'all where the deep state threatened to kill me. I showed y'all where they made fake articles about me and told y'all. I showed you where they're making fake articles to make me look bad. And I still don't give a freak. I'm still coming. They told me they were going to pull up on me in DC and kill me. They told me they were going to kill me in California. I was right there. I literally said, pull up. I went live. I'm right here. Come see me. My shoulder was damaged. Come see me. After I saw them threatening so many women and threatening to kill women, like I just showed y'all. See, the women who stood up for people who were fighting CPS and the moms that stood up, little bitty 110 pound, 120 pound, little bitty frail white ladies and Hispanic ladies and black ladies they're a piece of nothing, right? Size wise. And grown freaking men are threatening to kill them. And you saw cowards sit back like punks and they don't want to speak up to these clowns. I will stand up any freaking day. And I'll still tell them like I told them before. If you want to get at me, pull up, big boy, right? You threaten to kill little ladies who you stole their kids and some of y'all done raped them with your dirty selves, right? You think that I'm going to sit down and let you get away with that? I can't be a child of God and do that. I would rather die first. So I showed y'all the real evidence. I showed y'all who these people are. I showed y'all these people threatening to kill people. I showed y'all their records of raping people. How are they all working together? And how was it so easy for this guy, Justin, the attorney in Oregon, to be able to know this Beatty guy and share his stuff and talk about how great of a reporter or investigation he did? Y'all got to stop and look like, how are these people connecting so fast? Got to think about it.
It's
right?
just it's completely coincidental.
Yeah, it got to be coincidental.
Just a coincidence.
It got to be a coincidence. All right, man. So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to give y'all this space. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it. If you like it, say you like it. If you hate it, say you hate it. If you think I'm a sucker, say, Dave, you're a sucker. I would respect you more if you just speak what you are. You ain't got to tiptoe around me. I'm not one of those people without thick skin. I'm not one of those people who are part of cancel culture. I believe in people being free to love each other, talk to each other, care for each other. And I tell y'all any day, I'm just a Negro from the ghetto. I believe that God has given me knowledge and wisdom to be able to fight the fight. I got thousands of people who tell of the wins we've had. I don't need somebody as an attorney to say, you got to show me you got the win my way. First of all, I don't use your way. First of all, I don't play in tribunals that are false. But we got people in the thousands who tell you we won. There is nobody with more remedy, with more wins, and it ain't because of me. It's because of God. If you hate God, you're really going to be mad. But God is doing a new thing. And I've been able to teach other people who have went and done the unthinkable. There was a committee opened up in New Hampshire because of Chris, right? Jaron has taught government officials in more than one state, right? Jaron has stopped people's kids from being taken, killed a case that somebody was trying to get $2 million from a guy over, right? The government was trying to get $2 million and they got zilch now, right? Attorneys were getting all this money. Jaron killed the case with a page and a freaking half. So there's others, right? The woman who came on last night showed y'all that she helped 5 kids get saved, either returned or saved. I don't give a freak about being anything that looks special. I'm a nobody Negro from the ghetto with ashy knees and elbows, right? Can't grow hair on the top. I am nothing. But I'm going to tell you, God is everything. And the victories that you guys have gotten, God is doing a new thing. You didn't see it 2 years ago. You didn't see it 3 years ago. You didn't see it 5 years ago. You're seeing things happen that never happened before. Now, if God can do something with a nobody like me, a nothing like me, then what can he do with you? See, I don't esteem you as lower than me. I esteem you as higher than myself. See, because I understand that God loves you. He wants good stuff to happen for you. He wants to build you. He wants to teach you. He wants to see you help others. He wants to see you get to the place that you're supposed to be, the best you, right, that you have in this lifetime. He wants you to get there. He wants there to be uh, judgment and righteousness. And he don't want there to be a whole bunch of missing equity, right? He wants you to be what you are supposed to be, and he can do it. So anything that you guys who are real people who attest to what you see me do in your own life, right? Some of you got checks, some of you got debt erased, some of you got cars back, some of you got released from jail, some of you got this, that, and the other. Y'all got so many things y'all done. I can't keep up with everything. But God has done mighty things with you. So if God can do that with me, what can he do with you? Don't doubt yourself. Don't be afraid to dream big. And when I say dream, I don't mean like a fake dream. God tells us the just shall live by faith. It's already written what God allows his saints to do. That don't mean you're going to be rich. That don't mean you're going to be perfect. No, but it means that God is able to give you everything you need for you to be able to do every good work. He's able to make you abound. That don't mean you're going to be rich. He's able to make you abound so you can do good works for him, so you can bless others. When you are abased or low, he's able to hold you. He's able to lift you up. He's able to do the unthinkable. And you are worth it. How do I know? Because he let his son, Jesus Christ, die for you to have a chance at eternal life. So with that being said, guys, I always love hanging out with y'all. Don't ever let the wicked make you fret. Don't be sad. Don't be broken. Be monsters when it comes to what God has for you to do. And he will do amazing things people won't understand. You just keep walking in faith. You keep trusting in him. You keep studying to make yourself better. You keep building the value that you have in yourself. The gift you have will put you before kings, before powerful men, and not mean men. All right. I will catch you guys later. I love y'all. Peace.